Welcome back, guys, to the Dr. Mo Show, where health is everything. If you've been following me from the beginning of this show, you know that we've switched from looking at entrepreneurial journeys because I initially thought I wanted to explore my transition from a traditional career to a non-traditional career. Well, everyone that I started bringing on the show, as you've seen, had a very important pivot where health really showed itself as the foundation of everything. So, with my background, I'll tell you a little bit about that. I am a physician. I am Dr. Mo, Dr. Maureen Gibbons. I am emergency medicine trained, and I've had a passion for nutrition and what is now known as lifestyle medicine for many, many years. I'm a certified nutritionist. I was an athletic trainer certified for 26 years. I've been a triathlon coach, 25 years as a life coach. This is my wheelhouse, which is pretty fun after all this. But I had to shift from a very traditional career to a non traditional career. And I've seen changes in my health throughout that process. And so on the podcast, I've ended up shifting from this entrepreneurial journey, which is still, if you notice, that's who we keep sneaking in there because it's not easy to strike out on your own and follow your purpose strongly enough so it ends up in your bank account. Because no matter how you slice it, we've got to put food on the table, right? So, speaking of which, this whole journey for me, I joke and call it a midlife crisis. We really do need a new term for that. But when my grandmother died, I looked down the barrel of my life and I said, is this the way it's going to be? Is this what I'm going to do? In the last 10 years or so of her life, I watched her decline. Really, it was a bit longer than that. But anyhow, I watched her decline and I wanted to intentionally not have that happen. Well, I'd been trying to get my food quality and my food quantity under control since at least the age of 9. I remember my first binge eating episode in conscious memory at age 6. So that's when I started using food as solace. And it's my primary drug of choice. It always has been. And that's what has inspired me to share my journey over the years in various formats. Now it's just solidified. So now we've got a podcast that health is everything. My transition from traditional medicine to a non traditional career started at the exact same time as when I started tirzepatide. The same day, oddly. I hired a coach at the same day that I took my first dose of Manjaro. And I was lucky enough to be an early responder. So within hours of my first dose, my brain was quiet. I didn't know the term food noise. None of us really did, to my knowledge, until the GLP-1 space became so large. And what is food noise? If you have to ask, I think that's amazing, to be honest. Food noise is the incessant thoughts of food. It's not even, it's pervasive. Okay, it's pervasive. And it's, what you're going to eat, how you're going to eat, how you're going to diet, how you're going to exercise. It's just all revolves. It takes so much brain space, but nothing ever really was productive. So when I went to the doctor shortly after my Ironman attempt in 2022 and said, listen, I can't stop eating. I need some help. And I'd already been in Overeaters Anonymous at that point for 20 years or so, in and out of the rooms, in since February of that year. But even in the room, not leaving, I could not give up my desire to compulsively eat. And I needed help. So I went to my doctor and he said, eat less, move more, and do you have a church you belong to? I do. I did. At the time, I went actually quite a bit more often. And I know how to eat less and move more. I just can't do it. And if my frontal lobe was driving the bus, we wouldn't be in this predicament. I've got a lot of old biological pathways when food actually was my savior. It got me through a lot of hard situations. My brain did not used to be what it is today. It's taken work, it's taken effort. Uh, it takes daily effort still. That book is my journey. It's my first book called Happy First. That's my journey out of that pit and how things have changed since then. So, since I started taking Manjaro, I lost 55 pounds. And recently we went on a trip and my suitcase was 50 pounds. It was 49.6 because we packed everything into my suitcase. And I looked and I tried to pick it up and it was pretty heavy. And I asked my mom, who was coming over to watch our kiddo, and I said, "Can you take a picture of me with the suitcase?" And she said, "Yeah." Why? I said, "Because this is the amount of weight I lost." And she was like, "Holy cow." Because then I had so many people tell me, "I can't believe you have that much weight to lose." So my journey has been at my goal weight now for about a year and a half. And when I first started my LDL, the quote unquote bad cholesterol was 179. It had been 179 to 184 at least 10 years. I had been getting it checked for 10 years before that. So since age 38 or so. And at age 30, 38, I weighed 127 pounds. Cholesterol was still that because my eating habits, the food quality was very poor and I was still binging. So take that for what it's worth. So throughout this process, my second cholesterol measurement in April of 2023 was 145, that bad number. And now it's down to 119, but I was recently diagnosed with coronary artery disease and a lesion in my heart. And what that means is there's a scar in one of the blood vessels in my heart that my body repaired with plaque. Got rid of it because that inflammatory change is not good. So neither is the plaque. So we're still working on that, and it is not the kind of athlete plaque. It's not that kind of plaque. It is the I've had 40 plus years of binge eating plaque with very poor food quality. That has changed, and my own deep, deep understanding that health is everything continues to be cemented throughout my journey, which is why I'm taking the time today to go back, revisit my story, what I'm going through, the changes I've seen, the amazing brain changes I've seen, and what I help people in coaching do after you get this brain space. Because it's not about the weight loss. I mean, it is and it isn't, right? Janine Roth, in her books, it's about the food, but it's not about the food. It's not about the food, but it's not about the food. So when you lose weight, and I don't mean just losing weight, I mean losing excess fat, dead weight, endocrine producing, storing tissues that are mucking up your pathways. Getting rid of that dead weight is weight off of your body, mind, and soul. And those of you out there who are hearing me, who are overweight, and this is not the place to argue about a BMI chart. We can do that elsewhere. But I want you to hear me because if you're carrying excess body fat, your body doesn't like it. Our bodies aren't made to do this. We have an unlimited storage capacity for body fat. So once you get to a point where you feel like in your skin, you can get up, you're wearing your own body. This is the way you're supposed to be living. You can walk, you can run, you can sit, you can do whatever it is that your doctor says is healthy for you. Remember, this is not medical advice. I'm the coach in the room. But throughout my journey, I saw right at the beginning, this is getting me toward the person that was always on the inside. And we just had to carve away the extra outside. And I couldn't do it without medication. And if you can, that's great. But let me offer you the flip side, because I've talked a lot about this morning. And these insights keep on coming because the GLP-1 receptor agonists, GLP-1s colloquially in social media, when we talk about the medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, and Mounjaro, which are semaglutide and tirzepatide, respectively. This class of medications started with Byduron and Byetta 2004-ish, 2005. So they've been around for a minute, and we've watched these, but until they actually produced successful weight loss, there was no drama surrounding these. Like does anybody remember in 2004 people ranting and raving about The medullary thyroid carcinoma with Byetta, same black box warning. Nope. So it's the same chemical base of the medication. So things have changed. The American Heart Association is looking at recommending these medications for stroke prevention. They slow the progression of chronic kidney disease. If you are not managed well, sure, they can have risk factors. If you're pregnant, nope, don't take them. But you can take these medications forever. You don't have to. But if it's risk benefit in your favor, then I think it's something to discuss with your healthcare provider. And that's what I wanted to discuss because health is everything. So what does health mean? What do I mean by that title? Health is everything. It's a common saying that if you have your health, you have 99 problems. If you don't have your health, you have one. Because you've got one thing on your mind. You've got especially if you have chronic pain, it takes up so much of that brain space. Much like being overweight, carrying all that excess fat, it takes up a lot of brain space. So the reason why we went toward health is everything is because if we don't have our health, if we don't have our freedom to choose, our life is very different. Our life is very different. We are stuck in a box. We don't know we're in a box. We don't have an abundance mindset. We have a scarcity mindset. And that is what I'm really dedicating my life to, is helping people not only have successful fat loss, because that is just the beginning. We talk about the financial side of wellness, the financial side of health, and we talk about fat loss and the logistics of fat loss. But we all kind of know what those are, right? It is eat less and move more. But how? How do we sustain that? How do we have habit change? And then mindset, because you have to have a shift. You have to have a shift. If you are one of my healthcare providers that's using my software that I'm coaching, you have to have a shift to move from traditional to non-traditional. And I bet every one of my people that are using my software will have a shift in health as well. I saw it with myself. I did not know. I did have burnout. I knew I had some working. I was emergency medicine, nights only, full time in a level 2 trauma center for the last 13 years of my career, 15 total on the ground full time. And I slept well, 7 to 8 hours a day. I had a very, very regimented sleep, very protected sleep. My food left a bit to be desired in quality. It still had until very recently, but I never stopped working at it. I never stopped trying to find the magic formula for me. And now that I have, I see that there are different things that people need to learn pretty quickly because once you shift from that traditional to a non-traditional career, you're going to open up some health concerns. You're going to be able to feel things you didn't feel before because you were so busy. We open up white space into your calendar. We have you look at your calendar to see what we can open up. And that's what I've seen, right? So my journey towards sustainability and baselines, I learned so much that I get excited to hand off to my patients and clients that when I lost 55 pounds and gained brain space and freedom, I couldn't help. I need to share it. I was asked the other day, why do you do what you do? I said, I can't not do what I do. So for the listeners, we will always address people's health journeys. We do talk about career. We definitely talk about mindset. When you listen to the episode with Angus Nelson, it is a gift. The right mindset changes everything, and you cannot see. And once you see, you cannot unsee. So once we crack that door open, there's an entirely different life out there that you can't see if you're in the pit. And especially this time of year, it gets difficult for people. It really does. Not everybody has jolly holidays. And I want to respect that. I absolutely want to respect that with the listeners. I never want to be one of those people with toxic positivity saying everything's perfect. Look, it's happy first. No, what that book is about is that underlying in our core, we are happy. We layer a bunch of crap on top of that throughout our lives, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, traumatic from other people. We carry those things with us and they cover us and they stand between us and our innate happiness. And what I mean by happy isn't about being happy all the time. It's our innate joy, our innate light. That's what that book is about. So, as we go through the next episodes, I am really excited to share the health journey of others. We've got some really, really good ones coming up. They're already recorded, and we just got to get them edited and up. And I just can't wait for you to hear them because some of these are such good stories, stories of hope, stories of overcoming, stories of complete change that a lot of times people didn't see coming, whether they were health challenges or otherwise. So stay tuned. Just know, number one, you're not alone. Someone out there feels what you feel. Let's get into some community. Let's learn. Let's grow together. And number two, don't forget health really is your basis for everything. That's physical health and mental health. So let's focus on our mindset. Start making a gratitude list every day. I've done it every day since 2010. And that's was the climb out of the pit for me, among other things, right? I do quite a bit of work that I love to pass on. So start with a gratitude list. What are you grateful for? What are you thankful for today? What are you thankful for this week? Fear and gratitude cannot exist in the same space. We've got to start filling our minds and our hearts with good words, good thoughts, and good images. So if you want more information, head over to drmocoaching.com. If you're listening to this before January 1st, 2025, you can get into coaching for half price for the length that you stay with me, because these are the things we talk about and these are the things that you need to hear. All right. Have a very, very good holiday, whichever holiday is coming up next, and I will see you next time.